Well, good morning, everybody. If you weren't able to hear Andrea, she might have been muted. I'm not sure, but she was saying, welcome to the Bellingham Center for Spiritual Living. We're glad you're here today. I'm Amber Darland. I'm the music director here at the center, and I'm happy to sing a couple songs for you to kick us off today. We'll start with this one. Take me to the water and I'll dive right in. I'm ready to let go of everything that's been. I said, take me to the mountain and I'll climb on up. The highest peak of beauty's gonna fill my cup. I say yes, I say yes. I know all is well. All right, let's sing yes. I say yes, yes, I say yes. I say yes, yes, knowing all is well. I say yes, I say yes. I say yes, 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 knowing all is well. I say yes, I say yes. I know all is well. Let's throw that routine out. I said throw routine right out the door. When I'm scared, I know it leads me to something more. Widen my gaze and see all there is. Take a leap of faith, I'm gonna find that bliss. I say yes, I say yes. I know all is well. Sing with me. I say yes, yes, I say yes. I say yes, yes, knowing all is well. I say yes, I say yes. I say yes, 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 knowing all is well. I say yes, I say yes. I know all is well. I said throw routine right out the door, and I'm scared I know it leads me to something more. Widen my gaze and see all there is. Take a leap of faith, I'm gonna find that bliss. I say yes, I say yes. I know all is well. I say yes, yes, I say yes. I say yes, yes, knowing all is well. I say yes, I say yes. I say yes, 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 knowing all is well. I say yes, I say yes. I know all is well. I say yes. Oh, now you all say yes. We know all is well. I say yes. Come on, we all say yes. We know all is well. Oh, so fun singing with you this morning. If you're out there today, take a minute, if you can type in and say hello to some of our friends out there in our spiritual community, near and far. It's a great time to connect with others, and we love to see who's tuning in. All right, let's sing this one. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right welcome here. Thanks for being here and for singing along. We're going to move on over to our practitioner of the day for an invocation prayer.
Thank you, Amber. That was great. We so appreciate you. Welcome to this electronic magic that enables us to join together in fellowship. We come together in joy for song and wisdom. Join me in knowing that one Spirit connects us all. Our spiritual paths have led us to this congregation to create and enjoy sacred community. I am in union with Universal Spirit. I am one with divine unconditional love and inspired by today's insights. We see our connections, one with each other, with all people, with animals, with our planet. We see our connection with all beings. We're connected in the divine life, in this holy community that we share with Dr. Andrea and the leaders of our church. I call upon Universal Spirit to make us strong and healthy with love and creativity in these interesting times. And so it is. We want you to know that practitioners are available to you for spiritual insights and affirmative prayers. You can reach us on the homepage of the website at the bottom where it says, prayer requests at the bottom of the homepage. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, Francine. All of me designed to perfection. All of me beautiful and sacred. All of me a wonder, expression of the infinite. All of me pure light, divine. Let's sing that again. All of me designed to perfection. All of me designed to perfection. All of me beautiful and sacred. All of me a wonder. All of me a wonder, expression of the infinite. All of me pure light, divine. All is love, all is light. All is love. all of me, pure light divine. May I never lose my wonder. 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 Let's sing that again. May I never lose my wonder. 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 Wide-eyed and mystified, may I be just like a child, staring at the beauty of the world. May I never lose my wonder. 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 Wide-eyed and mystified, may I be just like a child, staring at the beauty of the world. May I never lose my wonder. May I never lose my wonder. Sing that with me. May I never lose my wonder. 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 Well, I'm excited to hear what Dr. Andrea Asebedo has to say for us this morning. And here she comes with her message today.
Hi, everybody. Hope you can hear me now. Sounds like you can. Welcome again. Thank you, Amber. I was really hoping you would play that song because the topic this morning is the wonder. It's part of a larger theme for the month, the joy of interbeing. And that's part of a larger theme for the year. Who do we choose to be? And that who do we choose to be? I'd like to make that personal. Who do I choose to be? It's the kind of spiritual question that I live with a lot. When I see myself doing things that don't align with my values, who do I choose to be? When I make a mistake, who do I choose to be? So that I can quickly course correct and make right what doesn't feel quite right to me. So the wonder today has to do with something that is factory equipment for us sacred humans, and is a very powerful tool, but something that for many people they're unaware of. As you know, I'm a storyteller as well as a minister and other things. And so sometimes I walk with stories for a while, and I heard Michael Meade tell a story, and he was speaking to the soul, which he does quite often. And I thought that was really a cool story, so I've been walking around with it. And then I heard another wonderful storyteller that you're going to hear today. So let me start with Michael and the work that he's doing. This is from Awakening the Soul, one of his many books. And he's speaking about the inner eyes of the soul. And this is what he has to say. There is a view of vision and soul that involves the idea that a second pair of eyes exists in the depths of each sacred human. Whereas the first pair of eyes opens shortly after birth, the inner eyes of the soul can remain mostly closed and concealed within us. The second set of eyes involves both psychological and spiritual capacities that can remain untapped until something awakens us more fully and truly opens our inner eyes. The opening of the inner eyes begins to reveal the true aim and the natural path envisioned by the soul before we were even born. So that's a very powerful thing that I believe you and I are equipped with, is two sets of eyes. The eyes that look out into the world, that opened when we were born, that allow us to see and assess and make decisions. But that inner set of eyes is what the spiritual path is hoping to awaken within. And sometimes that second set of eyes, like Michael mentioned, don't open for a long period of time on our walk through this world of ours. Often what happens is something like what's happening right now with the pandemic. Something totally unexpected, something that completely stops us in our tracks. And for us, that's literal, for many of us still, and makes us let go of all the habits and the energies of the habits that we've been moving with for maybe decades. And we're kind of in a lost state, a place where we've lost our bearings, lost our sense of self, lost all the things that we used to define ourselves, both geographically, but also spiritually and psychologically. And it's at that moment that that second set of eyes can come in. So this story from Michael Meade illustrates that for me. So this is a story from the Blackfoot tribe of the plains of North America. And it's about an orphan boy and girl. And it goes like this. Over time, the people had become very prosperous and lived with an abundance of food. And then everything changed. And it seemed as if nature was taking away all their abundance and leaving them in hard times and in a poor state. It was as true back then as it is now that the hard times press the hardest upon those who are already poor or have a low status in life. That was the situation for a young brother and sister in the tribe who happened to be orphans. Having no one to care for them, they suffered greatly when the hard times came. The brother suffered in a particular way because he was deaf. He could not hear what people were saying to him or around him or about him. As a result, people thought he was foolish, dim-witted, and somewhat worthless. The sister was treated more kindly, for she was bright and cheerful. When one day the sister was adopted by a family from another camp, the brother had to live completely on his own. Left to fend for himself, the boy lived like one of the many mangy dogs who roamed just outside the camp, watching everything, sniffing the air in hopes of food, but not coming too close for fear of being kicked. He had kept his head down, lived on scraps thrown to the dogs, and dressed in frayed robes discarded by the poorest people of the tribe. At night, he slept alone in a small cave like an animal in a den. One day, the people decided to move the whole village to another place that they hoped would be more prosperous for them. Soon, all the lodges were taken down, everything of value was packed up, and the whole village began to move down the road. The orphan boy was told to stay behind because they were seeking a new life and had no need for someone who was deficit and could damage their opportunities. The boy could not hear what was being said, but he understood the message loud and clear. He watched as everyone left to find greener grass and a better life. He hung his head, barely looking up, while living in the emptiness of the vacated village. One day, it dawned on him that if he remained in that hollow place, he would always be alone and an outcast. In that moment, his eyes opened, his spiritual eyes, his second sight, and he could see his predicament clearly for the very first time. He could see the cause of his isolation, but also could envision a tragic outcome if he remained a solitary outcast. Since he knew no other people, he felt that he had to try to join the tribe, whether they wanted him or not. So he set off, following their tracks. Soon he became frantic that he would never catch up and would lose them forever. The tracks were wide and clear, and he began to run between them. At the same time, he began crying with the full realization of his state of rejection and forced isolation. With tears running down his face and sweat running down his body, he ran with all his might. At times he stumbled and lost his breath, but he would not stop. There was a sound like a crack, as if something had fallen out. But he would not stop, and as he pushed himself, as he continued to run, he could now hear things that were along the left side of the path. He heard the wonder of birds singing as he ran along, and then there was a snap in his right ear, and something seemed to come out as well. And from the right side, he could hear the rushing waters of a stream. It was as if the musical sound of water rushed all the way inside him. Soon the orphan boy could hear all kinds of sounds. It was as if another world had opened up. For the first time in his life, the boy laughed out loud. For the first time, he felt part of things. He felt something like courage growing in his heart. He stopped panicking, and he began to run at a consistent pace. He felt he had a right to follow the trail which the people had taken. He felt like he belonged in this world. As the orphan boy came near the new camp, an old chief saw him running steadily along and felt that somehow it had been wrong for the tribe to abandon him. The chief called out to him and waved him over. To his great surprise, the boy could hear the old chief calling to him. He seemed to be inviting him to rest and eat something. Of course, the boy ate as quickly as he could, as he was not used to being offered food. He was not used to hearing words either, but now he tried to take in each word and understand each sound. The old chief noticed the intelligence in his eyes and a new alertness in his manner and realized that he was neither stupid nor crazy. The more the chief looked at the boy, the more he liked something about him. He gave him more food and decided he would adopt the boy. He would teach him to be a good hunter and become someone who could truly serve the people. The boy had to struggle to grasp the meaning of the words of the chief and how they applied to him. But once he understood, the orphan boy began to weep again. This time, his tears were a mixture of sorrow and joy. The old chief could see that the boy was able to understand his words and that he had a depth of feeling and awareness. He thought about how everyone, including himself, had been wrong about that boy. As he observed the blossoming of the character of the boy, the chief realized that no one had ever given this boy a name. The chief decided to call him Long Arrow because he could see a long arc of possibilities in his inner nature. So the story has been walking with me for a while, and it's a story that I think is really applicable to you and to me during this pandemic time because, like the boy, in a way, we have been isolated. We've been isolated from the people who care about us. We've been isolated from the ways we used to move in the world. We've been isolated in ways that would make us feel separated and apart. And because of that, out of the world. And so the boy's story to me is a story that in part is about what it takes to come out of that isolation. And what it takes is that second sight, is that inner knowing that awakens in times like this and shows us a way when we think all is lost, that wakes us up to possibilities, both negative and positive, and invites us to take a new road. And so that story was really important for today. And then I was listening to this incredible woman that I'm hoping we can show you. She is a Facebook phenomena. Her name is Dr. Bernice Berry. And I wanted her to tell a story that for some reason connects with what I'm talking about for me. And I'll explain that. So let's see if my magical sound tech, Philip Flores, can bring Dr. Bernice onto our screen. Philip? Will it work? There she is.
Hi, I'm Dr. Bertice Berry, and I want to tell you a story. It's a really good story. It's a story that changed my life. My friend Peter told me this story, and when I heard the story, it didn't resonate with me. And then I continued to listen. Why? Because we are wired for narrative. Narrative has a way of reaching us and teaching us like statistics and charts and graphs don't. But because I like to say that I'm a woman of science and faith, I like both. So here's the story. Peter told me that years ago he was in the airport, actually on a plane on his way home. He was working as a consultant with a team of consultants flying from Atlanta to Boston on the last flight out on Friday. Everyone who's ever been a consultant who's taken that last flight, you know that you really just want to get home. Well, the inevitable happened. The pilot came out and said, "Sorry, the check engine light has just come on and it's going to take us a little bit longer. We're going to have to figure out what's wrong and try to get it fixed." Peter's boss grabbed him by the hand and said, "Get your things and come with me." He said, "Where are we going?" And she said, "Don't worry about it. Just come with me." So they got off the plane and they walked and walked. And he said, "Where are we going?" And she said, "Don't worry about it. Just come with me." And they got to a gate. It was a flight to New York. And so she talked to the gate agent and asked if they would change the tickets and let them go to New York since their flight wasn't going to Boston. Peter said, being the person who likes to control his own behavior, was like, "Well, what are we going to do when we get to New York? This is crazy. We don't need to get to New York. We need to get to Boston. Do you know how far Boston is from New York?" And she said, "Don't worry about it. Just come on. As long as you keep moving in the general direction, you'll get there. Just keep moving in the general direction. Just keep moving in the general direction." So they got on the flight, and he was still kind of anxious and nervous about it. And she said, "Listen, Peter, once we get to New York, we can catch another flight. We can get a car. We can go by boat. We can go by train. We can get there many, many ways. There are many ways from New York to Boston, but there's only one way tonight, and it's not going." I heard that story and I knew it was important. And for Peter, the important part was to keep moving, just to keep moving in the direction, and you'll get there. Keep moving. I thought about it for several days, and one night in the middle of my sleep, I popped up, and it became very obvious to me that the point of the story for me was the check engine light. You see, in my life, MS had become that check engine light that came on that stopped me from moving in the direction that I was accustomed to going in the way that I was accustomed to moving. It stopped me from being well in my definition of wellness, that the spirit, mind, body were in alignment, and my body would not do what my mind was trying to tell it to do. And my spirit was willing, but oh, was my flesh weak. And so my check engine light was that. And like any good sociologist, I began to operationalize this whole concept of getting to where we want it. So I graphed it. I drew some lines to indicate this part is wellness. That's the goal. That's where I want to be. This point over here, this point. And then I drew my graph, and then I said, what do I need to get there? What do I need to do? First of all, how am I going to measure wellness? What is wellness going to look like for me? For me, it was about range of motion. It was the ability to lose some weight. It was the ability to move and breathe. It was the ability to get through the year without catching the flu and pneumonia and all these other things that kind of came along with this. So every night, I asked myself a simple question. What do I need to unpack? And what do I need to pack? The first night I asked that question, I woke up in the morning and I realized that I had been listening to the news the first thing in the morning. And I said, I need to unpack that. I don't need to listen to the news in the morning. Maybe I need to listen to music. The moment I started listening to music again in the morning, I started moving again. And of course, when you're moving again, you're kind of oiling and lubricating your joints and you're moving better. I also realized that I would listen to the news at night. And so I said, no more news at night. Listen to a story, listen to more music, listen to the book that you're reading, anything but those things that cause you fear and anxiety and worry. Every day I'd say, what do I need to pack and what do I need to unpack? And sometimes I'd get these answers that I did not expect. You need to unpack your self doubt. What self doubt? I don't doubt myself. And the moment I said it, I could see myself stepping off a curb, wondering whether or not I would be able to make it. And that doubt was feeding the doubt in other areas of my life. I realized that I was supposed to be doing breathing treatments every day from November into March, and very often I didn't do it. So I put it down in my chart that I needed to do that every single day. And this year was the very first year that I made it through the year without catching the flu or pneumonia, which is kind of crazy in the middle of a pandemic. But I was prepared before the pandemic because I was already doing these daily things. In the evening, I'd say, what do I need to pack? What do I need to unpack? And in the morning, I would look at the day before and say, how did that work? What do I need to do more of? What's working well? You need to drink more water. What are you talking about? I drink loads of water. No, you don't. You carry a water bottle around. Oh, drink more water. What do I need to do to get to this point called wellness? You need to forgive. You need to let go. You need to share what you're learning and share it with those who want to hear it. You need to get rid of the naysayers in your life. You need to do what gives you joy. And every day I would pack and unpack, and every day I get closer and closer to that goal. And it simply came from a story. What I realized was that I couldn't get to where I needed to go the way had planned on getting there, but there were many, many ways to get there. And I just had to figure them out for me. Nobody can figure out your journey for you. You have to figure it out. But how does this story resonate? The pandemic has been a check engine light for all of us. The awareness of systemic racism has been a big check engine light for so many people. You
What she was sharing there, and she has stories every time she comes on Facebook. So if you're a Facebook person, look her up. But this particular story about Peter being on the plane, the check engine light comes on. He's trying to get from Atlanta to Boston. His boss says, "Come with me, follow me." And he's like, "Well, what are we doing?" And she's getting him on a plane to New York. And he's like, "Wait a minute, we want to go to Boston." She said, "There's many ways to get to Boston from New York. There's no way from here. There are many ways." And then Dr. Bernice takes it and says, "Well, that's an important story. That part is what Peter really liked. But the part for her was the check engine light." And later in this story that she's telling, she talks about how the pandemic is really kind of like a check engine light for all of us, and that it's an invitation to look deeply with second sight, with the spiritual eyes that are with us, that have been with us since we arrived here, and to ask ourselves those very important questions. What do I need to pack? What do I need to unpack? And then to await the answers. And when they come, to follow them, even when the inner control freak is saying, "But that's not the way we usually do that. But that's not the way we're supposed to go. Well, that's not the way I did it before." But instead, to listen deeply to the inner knowing and begin to use the capacity of wonder. Wonder. We've been imbued with an incredible imagination. A creative intelligence is walking with us, is indwelling us, and is available to us. And when we ask the deep questions about how do I get from this place in my pandemic journey, in my social justice journey, in my personal life, in my spiritual path, when we ask the deep question and are willing to listen to the answers, chances are about 99.9% that the answers we're going to get are not what we've been doing thus far. The past is not a precedent for this time and what we are called to do now. And the joy of interbeing for me is to listen to stories from all over. Listen to the story of the plants, listen to the story of the animals, listen to the story of the bird song, listen to the story of the Blackfoot people, listen to the stories of Dr. Bernice, listening, opening to inner sight, inner knowing, and then from that deep place, asking the question, how do I be my truest self now in this situation. For me, and then I'll close, one of the things that's been happening is I've been trying to do crash courses in a lot of different things ever since the pandemic hit, from technology to social justice to how to live isolated to anything in between. And as I've been on these steep learning curves, and I'm sure you have too in many ways, it was easy for me to get very out of balance, to get very upset in different ways, depressed, angry, frustrated, like I want to quit whatever I'm doing. Um, and what I realized somewhere along the way is when I asked the inner vision, the inner knowing, when I turned to my inner sight, the second sight that I've been gifted, and said, what do I need to be doing? And listened, the answer was not what I expected. The answer was things like, read a novel for a moment. Take a time out. Take time off from work. Allow yourself to be immersed in music. Walk in the world and notice your interbeing with all things. Those kinds of answers. And sure enough, just like Dr. Bernice, when I began to actually do those things, not just hear them, but do them, I came into a new point of balance for myself. And I'm able here in this place to move forward in ways that I am still discovering. So I'm inviting you into that too, because if you're like so many of the people who are speaking to me, writing to me, emailing and texting me, this is a very difficult time for all of us. And it would be easy to become lost and to feel like the orphan boy, that we've been abandoned by the tribe, and that we might as well just simply move into the hole and stay there. But if you ask, deeply ask, is that really the trajectory of what I am to do? Chances are good that no, there's some effort that you're being called to that's new and different, that's asking you to break through and open up, to hear new possibilities, to see new different ways of being, and then to do those things. So I'm going to do a prayer for that. I'm going to do it for myself because that's our tradition. But of course, as you hear the prayer, hear the words and accept them for yourself, and they are just as powerful for you. So please join me. I remember that there is something breathing me, holding me, moving in me, that is far more than my limited historical dimension self. This that is moving in me, working with me, operating as me, is a creative, divine intelligence that has gifted to me everything that it is. And part of the gift is the ability for me in the historical dimension to connect to the larger universal dimension that it lives in, that it moves with, and to ask the simple question, what do I need to pack? What do I need to unpack? Where do I need to aim myself to be truly aligned with my soul's purpose? And I remember now that that possibility is available to me, and I accept myself. Now, asking that question and receiving answers, there is that in me and in all beings everywhere that knows and waits and offers. And I accept the knowing and the offering in the form of new wisdom percolating up from my innermost being, informing me of the direction to go, the path to take, the ways of knowing and being that will deeply assist me now in this time. I also accept an unfolding of my deeper purpose through this very difficult time. I know that difficult times are a way for the soul to shine out. And so I choose to be that soul self, walking in the world in the historical dimension, but connected in every way with the universal direction of mind consciousness, the infinite one, creative intelligence as me, in me, through me. I'm grateful now because I realize I am not alone. I am not isolated. I am one with something so vast and so personal that I am deeply supported right where I am in moving forward in newness. And so I let this word reverberate in my life. I move with it, I contemplate it, I ask the deep questions, I receive the answers, and in gratitude, I release this word to do its mighty work in me. And so it is. Ah. So the historical dimension, Andrea wants to tell you a little bit about what's happening here at the center and how you can be involved. We've had an interesting thing happen. Because our center and our 7-acre campus has been largely empty for almost 5 months now, we have been experiencing people coming who have drug addiction, and we've experienced people breaking into the building. And fortunately for us, not too much damage is done. A few things were stolen. We're moving with new security measures. But I have a favor to ask. If you live in our area, and I know many of you are listening from far away, so I would ask of you faraway people, hold the center in consciousness. Do prayer for the center if you have a moment, knowing that we are divinely guided and protected in all that we are. And for those of you who live closer to home, here's the ask. If you have time in your schedule, we would love you to pop by the center. Maybe take a walk on the grounds. Maybe drive through the different parking lots. Maybe come have a picnic on the lawn or play a game with your kids in the lower meadow. Come at different times randomly, especially though at those times when it's starting to become dusk. If you're an early riser, come and walk on the grounds if you don't mind. And keep the energy circulating. It's not just as a deterrent for people who might see you or us as we move about, but really it's the consciousness of presence that we're looking for. So our practitioners have agreed to come and be here in the sanctuary in prayer on a regular basis, and they're coming at different times and they're praying in the sanctuary to know the divinity of this place, the sacredness of these grounds, and offer gratitude for our community that's spread now far and wide. So that's the ask, and I hope you can do that for us. We appreciate it very much. And here's a couple of things you might want to be involved in. Starting tomorrow, we are offering a daily prayer every morning at 7 a.m. Now I know there are some of you that 7 a.m. is like not going to happen for you. But if you would like to start your day with a prayer, at 7 o'clock in the morning, there is a Zoom link that you can click on, and one of our many practitioners will be there to offer a prayer that's between 3 and 5 minutes long to start us on the right road for our day. And we'd love you to be a part of that. You can find that Zoom link by going to our website and looking at the announcements, and you'll find it there. You can also email the center. You probably won't get the link until Tuesday if you do that. But we'd love you to be a part of the prayer whenever you have time in your day, 7 a.m., Monday through Friday, different practitioners offering this for you. We'd love to be of service to you in this way. We also have some wonderful garden parties that are starting this week. Many, because they're small, they're 5 people, many of them are full, but we do have a few that are open, and we would love to invite you into those. There are new things being added. So the new thing that's added right now is we are having a drum circle with Joe Asebedo for 5 people. That is being offered on Thursday, August 13th at 6 p.m. and Thursday, August 27th at 6 p.m. And we would love you to be a part of that if that's something that you would like. And for a full list of what we have, you can certainly look at the announcements. Don't forget that we have a book study starting soon on how to be an anti-racist. That begins Wednesday, August 19th. It's hard to believe that soon. It's a 6-week book study. We'll be using Zoom, so you do need to email the center for that Zoom link. You can email the center at info@csl-bellingham.org, and we will send you out the link for the book study. We'd love to have you be a part of it. I also wanted to let you know that you may have caught a glimpse of our faithful crew who have been behind the scenes working and in front of the camera working for all these many months. And I must tell you that we're a little tired, that this way of delivering services is beautiful and wonderful, and we're so grateful to be able to offer this. But it has been taxing because of that steep learning curve. So we are taking a Sunday off. There are 5 Sundays in August, and we're taking August 23rd completely off, the entire crew. So if you look for us on that day, you won't find us, but I hope what you'll find is a bunch of archived videos that you can watch if you would like, or maybe your inner vision will tell you to do something entirely new and different. Maybe that's a Sunday where you have off too, to explore and adventure in new ways for you. I hope you'll come back on the 30th when we'll all be fresh and new and back with you. But for the 23rd, you won't find us here. I think I'd like to turn it over now to Amber. I want to thank you very much for your donations. And let's have one song to take us out into this beautiful day. Thanks for being here.
Here I am. Oh, we're so glad you've joined us today. Let's sing All Good, All Good. All good, all good, holy, holy. All good, holy, holy. All in my mind, in my heart and my soul, lets me know all is good, holy, holy. All love, all love, all love, holy, holy. All love, holy, holy. All in my mind, in my heart and my soul, lets me know all is love, holy, holy. Let's sing all one. All one, holy, holy. All one, holy, holy. All in my mind, in my heart and my soul, lets me know all is one, holy, holy. Lets me know all is one, holy, holy. So grateful you've joined us today. And I forgot an announcement, special announcement. Next week, we have the wonderful trio Earth Practice joining us for music. So be sure to tune in. I won't be here, but my lovely friends with Earth Practice will be here to offer their songs. So see you next Sunday, and we'll be happy to see you again. Bye, everybody.